Welcome to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast with your host, Brandon Seigel. I'm a published author, speaker, entrepreneur, and private practice strategist dedicated to transforming the way that healthcare functions. This podcast is all about empowering you to create the change you want to see. Let's dive in. Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to this quick tip episode. Today, we're talking about the most common mistakes multi-state practices make. I see it all the time, and I want to be clear is that sometimes multi-state employers don't recognize they're multi-state. They're like, oh, we're based in Florida, and I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, but I got employees in Kentucky and Washington and Seattle and all these different areas. I'm like, you're a multi-state. They're like, no. Our clinics are here. We just have employees in other places. The minute you have employees in different places, you are a multi-state employer. Now, today we're going to talk about multi-state practices, and that may be both employer as well as multi-state locations. So let's dive right in. The most common mistakes that I am seeing right now related to multi-state private practice growth is one, we're ignoring state-specific licensing requirements and funding source requirements. You're going to laugh, but I have seen providers that are operating on contracts that are not in the state they're operating in. They're billing it under their tax ID, and they're not even recognizing that they're highlighting that the service is being delivered in a different state. So imagine this. And I know you're like, Brandon, there's no way that someone is doing this, but yep, there are people doing this. So imagine if you lived on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas. And imagine if you had a clinic in Oklahoma and you opened another clinic 5 miles away. And you're like, yeah, it's in Arkansas, but you're like, it's a border thing. And you were like, we're opening a satellite clinic in Arkansas. Not a big deal. And all of a sudden, you're seeing patients in that Arkansas location as a satellite location, but you're still billing under your Oklahoma contract, your Oklahoma tax ID. And what if you didn't even add the new location? So all it looks like is an office visit in Oklahoma, even though the patient's in Arkansas. And you're like, yeah, but Brandon, I don't see a difference. That Arkansas patient used to drive to us, so we would see them in our clinic in Oklahoma. So now all I'm doing is I'm bringing the service to them. Why is that any different? I'm like, totally different basis. So when an Arkansas Blue Cross patient is seen in Oklahoma, they're going through an Oklahoma Blue Cross contract. When you see a client in Arkansas, you're going through an Arkansas contract. So you must understand the licensing requirements, the funding source requirements, all those different things, because I see it too often. Here's the other thing. I will sometimes see that Oklahoma therapist who is seeing the Arkansas client in Oklahoma then says, hey, you know what? Jason wasn't able to come in. I live 20 minutes from their house. Would you mind if I just delivered the service in their home? And you're like, oh yeah, that's fine, whatever. Well, now they go into Arkansas, and guess what? They don't have their Arkansas licensure. They are not able to treat that patient in Arkansas. So just because an Arkansas patient comes and sees you in Oklahoma does not mean that you can treat that patient in Arkansas just because they come to you in Oklahoma. So recognizing all those nuances. So typically the patient beneficiary, that payer contract will allow that Blue Cross of Arkansas to be seen anywhere where they are. They go on vacation or this or that. But they will not allow your licensure in Oklahoma to be seeing patients physically in Arkansas. So you got to make sure your licensure is tied to where that service is being delivered. So, strategies to overcome this. I want you to verify licensure early. Check your new state's professional licensing boards before hiring or offering services. Recognize the example above and understanding what can be done. Check your insurance contracts. Check if there's interstate compacts. We're starting to see this more since COVID, where states are having they're allowing, these compacts that allow, if you have a licensure in the state of blah, 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 you're actually allowed to treat in the following states because we have a shared ability to treat each other's patients, et cetera. So look at those compacts. For the past 20 years, I've had the privilege of helping pediatric occupational, physical, and speech therapists redefine the way that their business functions and helping them tap into their entrepreneurial spirit. In recent years, I recognized a deficit, which was bringing private practice owners together with the vision of allowing them to connect, learn, and grow. And Growth Code Conference was born. From sunrise to sunset, we offer an opportunity for pediatric, occupational, physical, speech therapy private practice leaders and owners to connect, collaborate, learn, grow from yoga to breakfast to lunch to coffee carts and more. We take you to another world where you are inspired, where you feel empowered, and where you are able to grow to the next level so that we all can change the world one child at a time. Mistake number 2, this is very common: inconsistent HR policies across states. I see it all the time. You're applying different HR policies that are not allowed, and you're confusing employees. You're creating risks of non-compliance. For instance, sick leave policies. All of a sudden, you're like, sorry, we offer paid sick leave in Texas, but we don't offer it in Arkansas. We want to be consistent, even if that state doesn't have that same requirement. Something I need you to realize is when you offer a benefit that a state requires, the employees don't see that you're doing anything special for them. They see that you're doing it because you're mandated to do it. Show that you go above and beyond what is mandated. Again, I want you to adopt the strictest standard. Create your single approach that includes all the different states' handbooks and that operates, though, based on the strictest guideline. So your paid sick leave could be in Arkansas based on a California guideline. Centralize your policy management. Use your HR softwares like your Bamboo HR to enforce uniform policies across locations, etc. Mistake number 3. Are you ready? Underestimating payroll and tax complexity. Multi-state payroll is a minefield. Each state has unique tax withholdings, unemployment insurances, reporting requirements. Mess this up and you're facing penalties or audits. A practice I know got hit with a $10,000 fine for missing New York's payroll registration. I know. So you want to automate with software, use multi-state payroll. There's tools like Mozy or Gusto or Paylocity or you name it to handle those tax calculations and filings automatically. Hire a specialist, work with a payroll service or HR, fractional HR, or hire the director that understands and can work within a multi-state approach. Number 4 that I like to see, or I don't like to see, but I often see is neglecting HIPAA and state privacy laws. As you expand across states, you must navigate not just the regular HIPAA, but also the state-specific privacy laws, like California's Consumer Privacy Act. A non-compliant telehealth platform or website can expose patient data and lead to lawsuits. Understanding all those things. So strategies to overcome. I want you to conduct a compliance audit. Use some free tools from the Department of Health and Human Services to assess your website, data storage, all of those things, and choose compliant vendors. You should have a file of BAAs with every vendor you're utilizing. And in that BAA, you should understand the way that they store data. You should understand the way that they restrict data and how they comply with HIPAA guidelines and audits. Mistake number 5. Overcomplicating management structures. So many practices create these overly complex management systems for each state, leading to confusion, inefficiency. Oh, you got to go to your Texas manager or this or that. I think you could have team leads, but I think you could have one chief HR officer. At the end of the day, we want to streamline the way that your management is structured. We want to optimize the way they function. We want to develop policies, procedures that are consistent. We want you to feel like one heartbeat, one brain, one central nervous system. Does your organization feel like one organization or five? Just because you're practicing. So my question to you is this. From a functional standpoint, you should operate as if you have 25 locations in one state. The only difference when you expand to other states is compliance and making sure you're following the strictest guidelines of compliance and building uniform approach as a result. So we're going to centralize our decision making. We're going to streamline our communications. We're going to utilize different resources, whether it be a Slack or a workforce hub or any way we can to create that heartbeat, that central nervous system, and that brain for all of your locations. That's one heartbeat, one brain, one central nervous system, and it supports everyone. You build an ecosystem to create consistency. Did you know a 2024 SHRM report indicated that 60% of multi-state practices face compliance issues due to inconsistent HR policies, costing an average of $20,000 per violation? So you need to measure twice, cut once. Build your strategy. I've got an incredible hire that I'm waiting to hire that's in a different state. And I can't hire them until all my ducks are in a row. And I told them it might take weeks or months. But I cannot, even if I miss out on them, I got to do it right. And I want to do it right the first time. In the words of James Joyce, mistakes are the portals of discovery. But don't forget, at what cost? Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. Don't forget to tune in, subscribe, like us, share us, be part of our community, because together we can thrive, not just survive. Thank you for tuning in to the Private Practice Survival Guide podcast. I'm incredibly grateful to each and every one of you. Exciting news. We're now available everywhere, from Spotify to Apple Podcasts to YouTube or anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts. So watch, listen, and reach out. If you love this episode, please drop a 5-star review. It truly means the world to me. Are you looking for more ways to elevate your practice? If so, now is your chance. Reach out, go to my website, or email me at brandon@wellnessworksmp.com. And remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.